What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. I'm back after 2 days of being MIA. As you guys can tell, what I was doing was moving my setup back to where I used to be, so that's why I was gone. But today we are doing a Boston Celtics Realistic Rebuild, talking about that little pretty trade exception that the Boston Celtics have. So I have to say, I asked you guys in the community tab what you would like to see the Boston Celtics do with it, and I also asked a YouTuber who is a Celtics fan, which you guys probably already know now that I said that, who he would want as well. And you guys would be, I'm sure you guys won't be surprised what the popular opinion was on what the Celtics should do with it. But other than that, make sure you guys leave a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we're going to do something with that trade exception, and let's get the Boston Celtics better than what they are now. So the popular opinion was Andre Drummond, and I kind of tended to agree with this, but then I found out, which is something I probably should have known already, is that you can't trade players with the trade exception, and Andre Drummond makes $0.2 million more than the Boston Celtics trade exception. So unless if the Boston Celtics are willing to throw in Tristan Thompson and Marcus Smart, it's not going to happen because they can't trade their trade exception and a player on top of that to match Drummond's salary. So unless if like Drummond gets bought out or they were to trade somebody else, they're not getting Andre Drummond, unfortunately. So that is not going to be an option, and that was the popular player that everybody want. Even Massa, as you guys know, even said Andre Drummond, but I thought that was going to work, but it does not, unfortunately. So he also suggested Clint Capella and Fournier, and I agree with that. But the Celtics need something, and we could do something with that trade exception, but like I said, we cannot trade players on top of a trade exception. It is not allowed in NBA rules. So that is something I need to keep in mind. Some people said Valančiūnas, some people said Vucevic, and like the Vucevic thing, I like that one a lot as well, but you can't trade players on top of the exception, so I don't think the Magic would just take picks for Vucevic. I feel like it'd have to be like somebody that's not as good. I don't know. It'd have to be a special situation for somebody to give somebody up without giving up any kind of young player or anything. So this is what I think. So like Evan Fournier, I like that one. Clint Capella, maybe, just maybe for Atlanta. There's the Jonas Valančiūnas on the Grizzlies. I honestly don't think that one's too crazy. The Celtics could use a big man, honestly. I really do agree with that. And I feel like Valančiūnas could definitely help with that. Although the Grizzlies, I feel like, do like him. But if they could acquire a couple first-round picks or something for Valančiūnas, I think that's definitely a possibility. Evan Fournier, Capella are definitely guys like that. But Valančiūnas is one of those guys that doesn't really fit the timeline of the Grizzlies right now. So I think that's the most likely decision that the Celtics could make potentially to get a big that they desperately need. So Jonas Valančiūnas to the Boston Celtics, I think it makes a lot of sense to me. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let's do it. Technically, in 2K, there's literally no trade exception for the Boston Celtics. But yeah, so we have Jonas Valančiūnas coming to the Celtics for a first-round pick, a second-rounder, and another second-rounder in Javonte Green. So I know, like I said, in real life, you cannot trade players with an exception, but I couldn't make the trade without giving a player in return to the Grizzlies. So obviously, Javonte Green is just kind of filler. He doesn't really matter in this situation. But Valančiūnas is on the Boston Celtics now. So I'm wondering if that's going to fix anything for Boston. Would that help them out a little bit? And one thing I also want to do is we definitely need to fix this starting five. Thompson and Valančiūnas starting together makes literally no sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to move Jaylen Brown to small forward, and we're going to move Jason Tatum to power forward. I believe, or not Jaylen, or Tatum power forward. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so Tatum's going to be playing the 4. And then now we can start Marcus Smart. So we have Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Jonas Valančiūnas, Robert Williams, Daniel Tice, Tristan Thompson. And that's, again, way too many guards off the bench, like holy cow, or way too many centers off the bench, I should say. That is kind of ridiculous. So we kind of don't need all of them, obviously. So what we're going to do is probably trade one of them or something, because we do not need this many guards off the bench. So, or centers, I should say. Maybe we should just kick somebody out of the rotation. I don't know who that would be. Maybe move Tyus to power forward, because I feel like Tyus could play the 4, just because he's, I'll just leave him there. That way the rotation just looks a little bit better. So I have Tyus playing the 4. We'll have Valančiūnas obviously starting. Robert Williams, Tristan Thompson, I do like. And then Peyton Pritchard and Jeff Teague getting the minutes. And then, okay, you know what? We can do that. We'll do that. We'll roll with that. So that is going to be our rotation for the rest of the season. So now that we have Jonas Valančiūnas here, we're going to move this to probably a balanced system, and we're going to hope that we can simulate to the playoffs and hopefully get there. So that's what we're hoping for now. Obviously, the Celtics should be better than what their record shows in real life, but now that we've acquired Valančiūnas, hopefully that helps out a little bit, and we can go ahead and simulate this first season. By the way, guys, you guys like this webcam, or do you like green screen better? I wanted to try it out today because I have a cool background now, but let me know. If you guys would rather see me go back to the green screen, I'm totally fine with that. If you guys like this, you're listening, definitely would be helpful if you guys were to tell me whether you like this better or not. But let's simulate this first season and let's see what happens. As the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, so that's good. MVP goes to LeBron, Rookie of the Year goes to LaMelo. We got Precious winning 6th man, Giannis Antetokounmpo winning Defensive Player, Most Improved goes to Christian Wood, and Coach of the Year goes to Steve Nash, Cody Toole, Executive. So All-NBA first team. I'm not sure if we're gonna have any Boston Celtics players. That would be cool, but it doesn't look like it. I feel like Jaylen Brown might have a case for like an All-NBA third team or something this season, but we'll have to see. We are the 4th seed in the East, so we at least turn things around a little bit. Brooklyn's number 1. We have Orlando in the first round, Milwaukee, Miami, Philly, and Cleveland. Okay, so 50 and 32 is really good. So I feel like Valančiūnas definitely came over and helped out a little bit. Definitely helped out on the rebounding end, and he averaged 1 block per game. So maybe he was a little bit there defensively. We had Jaylen Brown with 23, and Jason Tatum with 24, Kimbo with 22. We had 9 from Daniel Tice, 7. But obviously the goal in the offseason will definitely to be upgrade the bench a little bit more because I'm not in love with our bench right now. We are playing the Orlando Magic in the first round, who have Markelle, Evan Fournier, Isaac, Aaron Gordon, Vucevic, Terrence Ross, Mo Bamba, and Kim Birch. So hopefully we can go ahead and take care of business in round 1, but we are down 1-0 to start things off, which is not a good sign. So we do even it up with them, which is good. Can we take the 2-1 lead here? We do not. Orlando does. And they're up 3-1. So that's actually not really good. For some reason, Orlando is always really good in 2K simulations. I kind of hate it. It's really annoying because there's been plenty of times where I've lost to Orlando Magic for no reason. But it looks like we might be able to take this one at least. So hopefully we can, even it up and take this to a game 7. That would be ideal here. I definitely don't want to go home to the Orlando Magic in the first round. But if we do, we can just upgrade the bench in the offseason. No biggie. And it looks like we are going to force a game 7. That was really close. I tried to stop it, but we won it. I wonder what the score was. 132 to 130. Kim Walker with 34, 25, 14. 14 and 26 from Jonas Valančiūnas. Definitely big there. Okay, game 7, man. In Boston, in the TD Garden. We don't lose these. We don't lose game 7s at home. We don't do that. Come on, let's go. Let's see if we can take care of business here and go on to the second round. And it looks like we're going to blow them out by 36 points. So that was harder than it should have been. But now we get to play Charlotte or Brooklyn. So the Nets are struggling against LaMelo Ball and the Hornets, which is just kind of funny to think about. Let's see what happens. We are playing the Brooklyn Nets, rightfully so, right? I feel like Brooklyn would not struggle like that in real life, but this is 2K, so we all know what kind of fantasy world we're living in. So now we have Brooklyn and Boston, Philly and Milwaukee, which is definitely 4 contenders you could see making it out of the East this year. So we got LA, Phoenix, Clippers, and Dallas. Interesting over there as well. So we are simulating game 1 against Brooklyn Nets. They can't play defense, so hopefully that helps us out. And we're up 1-0 to start things off. So that's actually a really good start. So we had 33 from Kyrie, as I'm wearing the Kyrie Irving Celtics shirt. Very outdated, but I'm still wearing it for today's video. We had 30, 23, and 15. Game 2 is going to go to us as well. So we're up 2-0. Milwaukee and Philly are tied up. Do we take the 3-0 lead here? We do. That's actually kind of insane. And do we sweep them? We swept the Brooklyn Nets, which is just kind of funny to think about. I don't know if that would happen in real life. They even have a healthy Dinwiddie right now, but it looks like Harden, Durant, and Irving just isn't good enough to beat the Celtics, I guess. So now we're playing either Philly or Milwaukee. I feel like Philly makes a lot of sense here. And no, Milwaukee comes back and actually beats Philadelphia. They were up 3-1 and blew it. So we got the Battle of LA, Milwaukee, and Boston. I think this is something, that might happen in real life. We'll have to see, though, obviously. I feel like Philly definitely... I could see them making it farther than the second round, but we'll see. So, game 1, playing the Milwaukee Bucks, who have Drew, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez, and Bobby Portis. Simulating game 1, we're up 1-0, so good start, very good start. 32, 13, and 10, and we had 34 from Tatum. Game 2 is going to go to us as well, so we are off and running up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks. Do we take the 3-0 lead here? We do, and do we sweep them? Yes, we do. I find it very funny that we struggled against the Orlando Magic, but swept the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks. That's 2K for you. That is literally 2K for you in a nutshell. So now we're playing the Los Angeles Lakers. So we get the rivalry, the Lakers versus the Celtics, the 2 teams with the most championships in the NBA, I believe. Now we get to play Schroeder, KCP, LeBron, AD, Montrez, Kuzma, Marc Gasol, Taylor Horton-Tucker, Caruso, Wesley Matthews. So this is going to be a dogfight. Game 1 does go to them, though. So LA takes game 1. Game 2 goes to them as well. So AD and LeBron are off and dominating 40 and 10, 40 and 12. I'm assuming AD is absolutely abusing. Jonas Valančiūnas down low, I assume. Do they take the 3-0 lead here? They do. So that's not a good sign. And do they sweep us? They do. So we are no match against the Los Angeles Lakers. We get swept in the NBA Finals. LeBron goes on to win his 5th ring, I think. So yeah, good for him. But now we can kind of focus on upgrading the bench in the offseason and seeing what else we can do. So all right, let's go straight to league meetings and kind of figure out what we're going to go from here, because we just lost and forward to the NBA Finals. We did make it all the way. We eventually lost. So we'll have to see what we can do to fix things. So, we don't have anybody as far as a lottery pick. So we're not even going to worry about that. We also gave our pick to the Grizzlies, so they got that. Brad Stevens, I'm going to keep the coaching staff the same. I am going to fire my trainer, though, because I would love that A training for, obviously, 3 untapped potential camps, because you definitely want those. For the NBA draft with the 23rd pick, I think it might be important to draft here, so I'm actually going to jump in and see who I can snag with that pick. If I can simulate, or do I not have a pick? Oh, yeah, I don't have a pick here. What am I talking about? I traded it to the Grizzlies, so I don't know what I'm even doing. So, no picks here in this draft. Robert Williams, Grant Williams, and Romeo Langford. And then qualifying offers, none. Okay, so looking at our roster right now, we have Kemba and Peyton Pritchard. I definitely want to keep Peyton Pritchard there. He's actually shown some very big upside for the Celtics at times. We have Marcus Smart starting at the 2, the heart and soul of Boston. So I don't mind him starting. Definitely brings defense in the starting 5, so I love it. Jaylen Brown, Aaron Naismith, somebody they obviously just drafted at number 14 in 2020. And then we have Tatum, Grant Williams, and then Jonas Valančiūnas, Robert Williams, Tristan Thompson. So we don't need both Robert Williams and Tristan Thompson, because we're gonna ship one of them off. I'm not really sure which one. I feel like Robert Williams would probably have a little bit more trade value. So if I package maybe Robert Williams and, let's say, so where's Robert Williams? Robert Williams and, let's say, maybe Carson Edwards, I guess. Let's see if we threw these two together. We can get Shake Milton from Philly. We can get Gafford from Chicago. Okay, so there's definitely some options out here. Miles Bridges from Charlotte, and then we get a second-round pick. I don't mind that. That would definitely be a nice addition to the roster. Chuma Okeke, Willie Cauley-Stein, RJ. So that would give us Nickel, Josh Jackson, Malachi Flynn, Jashawn Tate. Okay, so there's some good options out here. I really honestly loved, okay, the Troy Brown Jr. one is interesting as well, but I don't think we deserve a first-round pick. I loved I think the Miles Bridges trade. We get a second-round pick. We give them Robert Williams and Carson Edwards. So we're going to be getting Miles Bridges, who is going to be expiring soon anyway, so maybe Charlotte doesn't want to pay him. So they give us Miles Bridges, who gives us a nice backup 4 to back up Jason Tatum. So I don't hate that at all. Grant Williams, and we have Jonas Valančiūnas, Tristan Thompson, Miles Bridges, Jason Tatum, and we still are working on probably a backup wing player, honestly. So let's go see what that might entail. We could sign Daniel Tice back, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and let him walk. I know some Celtics fans would probably love to see him back, but we just upgraded that with Miles Bridges. So I think what I want to do here is, so we can sign Alec Burks. We can sign Wayne Ellington, who would be a really nice shooter off the bench. Duncan Robinson, Avery Bradley. You could bring Avery Bradley back to Boston as well. That would be a lot of fun. Let's see what we want to do here. Justin Jackson, Josh Hart. So there's a few options. So I'll probably sign like Alec Burks to a 2-year deal. I'll sign Wayne Ellington to a 2-year deal. Hopefully he doesn't go down in overall too much. James Ennis also an option. So I'll probably sign Wayne Ellington and Alec Burks, honestly. We'll probably give both of them, and hopefully, okay, so we don't have enough to sign Wayne Ellington, so we get Alec Burks instead, which is fine. And I'm happy with that. That is going to be our offseason of season number 1, after season number 1, I should say, at least. So Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, Valančiūnas, Marcus Smart, Miles Bridges, Thompson, Alec Burks, Peyton Pritchard, Aaron Naismith, and Grant Williams, Romeo Langford. So I love it. I think we upgraded the bench. We definitely upgraded the bench, and I'm not ruling out the possibility of trading for someone at the trade deadline to boost ourselves even more. But for now, I'm happy with what we have. 31 is good enough to be the first seed in the Eastern Conference. So we didn't do a whole lot in the offseason, but I feel like we did enough to kind of round up our roster a little bit more. And look at that, Robert Williams won most improved player for the Charlotte Hornets. So somebody that might be over there, go over there and have some fun with LaMelo Ball and all that. So Stan Van Gundy, Coach of the Year on the Pelicans, and Cody Toole, Executive of the Year. So all NBA first team. Do we have any Boston Celtics players representing? Doesn't look like it so far, and no, we do not at all. All defense first team, none, and nothing on all defensive team either. And we didn't have any important rookies, and we're the first seed in the East. So Orlando's the second seed. We got LA as the second seed, which is 2 teams that gave us very big problems last year. Milwaukee doesn't even make the playoffs, which is just kind of crazy to think about. If they were literally to trade their picks and then not even make the playoffs the very next year, which would just be crazy. We had 27 from Tatum, 22 from Jaylen Brown, 21 from Kemba. So I'm hoping and praying that this is our championship year, because I feel like the Celtics window is definitely open, and I really want to take advantage of it. So Derrick Rose in Miami and Jimmy Butler are reunited, so you love to see that. Tyler Herro, Precious, Bam Adebayo, Goran Dragic, Derek Culver. So simulating game 1, we're up 1-0, so that's a good start. Game 2 goes to us as well. Game 3 goes to us, and we sweep them. So that's a really, really good start to the playoffs. And now we're going to be playing the New York Knicks, who beat the the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Hawks are usually kind of scary to be in the NBA playoffs in this simulation, so happy with that. And now we're playing the New York Knicks. So let's go see what the Knicks have going on. We have quickly Kawhi, Julius Randle. So I guess the play of Julius Randle has acquired or has enticed Kawhi Leonard to come to the Knicks. So they have a very interesting roster. I'm not even going to lie. Kawhi there is very scary as they're up 1-0. So that is not a good start. Let me simcast game 2 because I do not want to go down 2-0 to the Knicks right now. That is a very, very bad idea with Kawhi Leonard being there, with all due respect. And let's see if we can beat them. So we are going to even it up 111-132. So that's very good because, like I said, I do not want to go down to the Knicks right now because the Knicks have Kawhi. So let's see if we can take the 2-1 lead here. It's a very back and forth game, and we do take the 2-1 lead, 21-5 from Jason Tatum and 17-9 from Miles Bridges. So if we could take the 3-1 lead here, that would be absolutely huge, honestly. Let's see if we're able to do that, or is it going to be an even series from the Knicks? And we are in New York, so Madison Square Garden overtime, we do take it 3-1. So now we're going to game 5. I'm still not ruling this series over yet because, you know, the Knicks have Kawhi. I know I keep saying they have Kawhi, but Kawhi is just one of those guys you just don't play around with. And we are going to beat them. 111-128, 29, 25, 11-4. So we do beat them, and now we're waiting either Orlando or Brooklyn. I obviously would rather play Brooklyn, which is kind of weird to think about because Orlando almost beat us last year. So hopefully we play Brooklyn. And no, we're playing the Magic. So the Orlando Magic gave us problems last year, and hopefully it doesn't repeat itself. But let's see. So game 1 goes to us, which is good. Good start. Game 2 goes to us. Okay. Game 3 goes to them. Do they even it up, or do we go up 3-1? We're up 3-1, so that's really good, and we beat them in 5. So we're in the NBA Finals once again, and now we're playing either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Los Angeles Lakers. So let's see what happens. So the Timberwolves have Paul Millsap, Towns, Malik Beasley, Edwards, Russell. And then Schroeder, KCP, LeBron, AD, Montrezl Harrell. So similar Lakers roster. One thing I do want to say real quick is, man, I feel so bad for Minnesota because they still have not seen D'Angelo Russell and Karl Towns play together enough, man. They just haven't seen it. Either whenever somebody comes back, the other one gets injured. It's just so it just sucks, man. It really sucks because Minnesota has not seen their 2 best players play together. It's just so annoying. Or they have, but not on a huge sample size, obviously. So it's just very unfortunate. But let's see who we get to play. And we are going to be playing the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we are not playing the Los Angeles Lakers. We are instead playing Minnesota, who have Russell, Malik, Edwards, Paul Millsap. We just went over this, but I'll look at it again. And yeah, so they beat the Lakers. Game 1 goes to us. So good start. Game 2 goes to us. Game 3 goes to us. And you could probably say this might be all she wrote because usually nobody comes back from 3-0 lead, but this is 2K, so you can't rule anything out. You cannot rule anything out. It is, you know, nothing is out of the realm of possibility. This is a very close game though, so let's see what happens. It looks like they are going to take this one though. They take a big lead and we are not scoring whatsoever. We went cold, so they are going to beat us and win 1 game, so that's good for them. Game 5 in Boston, though, so hopefully we close that out and win a championship in front of our home crowd, assuming that the crowd would be back at this point. And, okay, so we are taking a pretty good lead going into it, so hopefully we close this out, 99-113. It is not over just yet, though. It is a very still close game. It's looking like, though, it's probably over now. Yeah, I would say it's probably over now. With 17 seconds left, we're going to jump in. We're going to watch the end of it, obviously, even though nothing's going to happen. We're going to win the championship, and just like that, we have rebuilt the Boston Celtics to glory.